Hi, this is Melanie from Hook to the Left, and today we're going to take a look at the Harry Potter Crochet Wizardry book. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi everybody, thanks so much for joining me here today. If you are a big fan of all things crochet or yarn, then go ahead and go down below and hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell so that you're reminded each time I come out with a brand new video. Alright, so today we're going to take a look at the Harry Potter Crochet Wizardry book. This is the official Harry Potter Crochet Pattern book. It does have the Wizarding World seal, and it is by Lee Satori. This is a big book, and it is priced that way. I will have it linked down below if you're interested in purchasing, but if you take a look here, it is to the binding. It is a nice thick book, and there are a lot of patterns in here. But look at that, see, so much. I'm not going to show them all to you, but so let's take a look inside here. So the first thing that I always am interested in is how it's bound. Now this is a hardcover, very nice hardcover book, but it has a regular binding. So this will not lay flat until you have to push on it to get it to lay flat, and even then it curls up just a little bit and might flip over unless you start to get a little bit more weight on either side. So just to let you know, I am a fan of having a spiral bound for all crochet books instead of any other type of binding. But this is a really nicely done hardcover binding, and if you're going to have to get away from the spiral, this is the next best thing. Alright, so one thing I do like about well, there's a lot of things I like about this. I'm going to be honest with you right up front. But the one thing I do want to point out here is that it does have the project skill levels, and it tells you beginner, intermediate, and advanced. I'm going to tell you, when you see these skill levels, these are guidelines. You could find where there's an advanced, maybe not, but say there's an intermediate project, you have an easy time at making, but yet you struggle with the beginner project. So it's all relative, so keep that in mind. Just know what you're capable of, and just know that this is a particular guideline. If you're interested in making something, do not let this level rating scare you away from it. Give it a shot. It may be easy for you, whereas for somebody else it may be a little bit more difficult. Everybody thinks differently. Okay, so the first thing they do is they start with amigurumi, and right here on the project it tells you what skill level it is. So all of the amigurumi are intermediate or advanced. So they're saying this amigurumi stuff is not for beginners. They do have on the Conjuring costumes. So this is costume pieces that, like the house scarves, those are so popular. While they're knitted in the show, they do have a crochet version of them. And let me see if I can't find this for you. It shows like Cedric Diggory here with his house scarf, but that's a knitted scarf and her scarf. But here is the crocheted version of those scarves, and here's the patterns for it. So I thought that was really neat. And another one of my favorites here is Luna's cropped cardigan. So this is Luna's cropped cardigan here, and I thought this was absolutely adorable. This is a great project right here, and it even shows the picture of where Luna wore that cardigan, which that may not be crochet, but they made a very similar one here, but where she wore it in the movie. So I thought that was really neat. That was one of my favorites. All right, and then so that's the costumes, and that's stuff taken straight from the thing. Now then they talk about fantastic fashion. So well, here we go. The Conjuring costume says true to screen replicas of iconic costume pieces. So that's the difference between the fantastic fashions. Garments inspired by characters, themes, and motifs from the film. So they had the hooded poncho. One of my favorites here is the Unbreakable Vow sweater. I think that is absolutely, it's a beautiful sweater. Here we go. So that is the Unbreakable Vow sweater. And that's inspired by the movie. It's not taken straight from the movie, it's just inspired by the movie. And then finally, the next section is keepsakes and curios, decorative accents, and personal keepsakes from the Wizarding World. And so they talk about the burrow blanket, which I had that one marked. I'm going to show you that. I think it's beautiful. It's one of my favorite projects in here, and it looks like it's relatively easy to make. They even have it as a easy or a beginner beginner project. So they have a bunch of different stuff here, and then they do the abbreviations, talk about abbreviations, yarn resource guide, and acknowledgments. So let's go ahead and take a look at this burrow blanket. And I'm going to tell you how they do the patterns and some things I really like about the pattern. So I have the burrow blanket. Yeah, I have it marked right here. Okay. But will you look at that blanket? How beautiful is that blanket? I love the colors of it. It looks like a simple square. It's probably a, not quite a granny square, but something very close to it. And then some pretty border. Yeah, it looks like a pretty simple, probably the worst part of it is sewing in the ends and putting it all together. But one thing I want to tell you about how they do their patterns here that I really do like is, okay, first they put at the top the skill level. They tell you a little bit more about the pattern and where it comes from and what the inspiration was. Now over here it talks about, it has the sizes, which with the garments that's a little bit more important. They do the finished measurements, of course, which is always nice. And then the yarn that they use, which in this case they use a DK or light number 3 yarn. They tell you what colors they use. Now here they did tell you that they showed this, what they made here, that is shown in We Crochet City Tweed DK. And then the name of those particular colors, which I always like it when they do that if you want to try and match this exactly. You can always choose to do other colors if you'd like. And then you use an 8 or 5 millimeter crochet hook. So that means that this is going to drape really well. A 5 millimeter crochet hook with a DK weight yarn, it's going to have a beautiful drape. And then you also need a blocking mat and tapestry needles. So again, this is basic stuff, but I do like this. Now, one thing they also do here, whenever they start going through the pattern, they have some notes. So it tells you that it talks about granny squares, that it comprises granny squares, and the tabby is the contrast color to use to border each square, and is also used for seaming the blanket border. And you will need 168 squares total. So I like that it does that. And I'm sorry, my kitty cat's yelling at me. So, and then special terms. Now that's what I really like, and I've seen this throughout. Even on other patterns in here where they talk about special terms. In this particular case, they talk about a picot stitch. And when you do a picot stitch, it tells you exactly what that involves. So they can call it just a picot stitch in the pattern itself, but you can refer to this and know what does that involve. And then it also talks to you about the matcher stitch and tells you a little bit more than that. So it gives you some special information about not the stitches and the things that you need to do in here that are not so basic. It doesn't assume that you know all this stuff, but it does a really great job of doing this. I also love this little motif that it gives here for this particular one, which you can choose to follow that motif or you can choose to make your own motif. I'm kind of liking this motif, and I think I'm really liking this blanket. But 168 squares, you know that's a lot of ends, right? That's a lot of ends, but that's okay. That's what we live with as crocheters, right? So, and then just continue on with the rest of this book where it's got, you know, the basic stuff in the back, some of their charts and stuff like that. So, and that was a beautiful Christmas blanket. Look at the golden snitch blanket. Oh my gosh. What? Oh, and that's a wall hanging. How pretty is that? It's like a Gryffindor. Oh, it's a Quidditch banner. I thought it was a Christmas thing, but it's a Quidditch banner. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous is that? But this, if you're a Harry Potter fan, I think that you are going to love this book. Why? Because I'm a Harry Potter fan and I crochet and I love this book. I am going to go ahead and give this book a 4.75 out of 5 stars. Why doesn't it get 5 stars? Because it's not bound spiral. I have my cat. He's restless. He's making noises, knocking things over. Anyway, it's not spiral bound. That is the only reason why it gets 4.75 stars. This is one of the more expensive crochet pattern books. However, there are a lot of patterns in here They are specific to Harry Potter. There's a lot of very detailed and very intricate patterns in here, so they're not just a bunch of easy patterns. They're just all different, and I think that they did an amazing job with this book. I think it's about 20 bucks, I think. I think it's totally worth the money you want to spend on it if you're a Harry Potter and crochet fan. I think this is so worth it. So what do you think? Are you a fan of Harry Potter? Would you make any of these projects? Would you buy this book? Let me know what you think down below. I'd love to get your opinion. Are there any books that you think that I need to check out that are crochet specific? If so, list them down below. I'd love to check them out. May not do it tomorrow, but I'll definitely take a look at putting it in my repertoire of books down the road. If you like all things crochet, yarn, anything like that, then don't forget to go down below and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so that you're reminded each time I come out with a brand new video. And if you enjoyed this book review, then please don't hesitate to hit that thumbs up. I really appreciate it, and it helps get this video to other like-minded people, other people that would find this video helpful and interesting. So thank you again so much for being here today. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys have an amazing day. Bye-bye.